All right, let's talk about hiring your children. I know that we've talked about this a lot in terms of like hiring your children, or you guys may see like hiring your children and what that all means, and how to really maximize. And I love the concept of hiring your children, but I want to allow you guys, and I want to talk about taking it a step further and really investing in your child's future and making it like a triple tax deduction. So let's talk about hiring your children, right? So hiring your children in the year 2024, you can pay them up to $14,600. Okay. What you cannot do is you cannot take that money and contribute it towards food and shelter. So you cannot have them work and then say, you owe me rent and pay for your own food. You cannot do that. Okay. But what you can do with the money is you can pay for extracurricular activities. It's their money. But what you should be considering and what you should be thinking about is taking it and investing it into a Roth IRA. So if you take that money and you invest it into a Roth IRA, here's how you're able to get a triple tax deduction. One, it's a tax deduction from your business. Then when your child receives the $14,600, it is not it's not taxable, right? It's not taxable because it's under the standard deduction amount. And then what happens when you invest in a Roth IRA, it is going to be able to take advantage and take into account compound interest, right? So now you're building a retirement account and you're able to do that. And when it's time to get the money out of that account, it's going to be tax-free. So that's why I love the conversation about paying your children, because now it's like, all right, now let's think about paying your children and taking it a step further versus just saying, oh, okay, it's just a tax deduction. No, let's get a triple tax deduction out of this, right? So I think that I love.
Let's fully explain. Like I know you're gonna go through like an example for that, but so for parents, like if you have a business, you can pay $14,600 to your child. So the benefit with that, like you said, is that if you're going to give your child money anyway, then you might as well give them money and have them as an employee. You don't have to go through all of the have them on officially on a payroll, right? And it's a tax deduction to you, as opposed to you just giving them an allowance. Now you don't benefit from that.
That's and that should be done through an LLC, because I get that a lot, and I get that question a lot. That should be done through an LLC, not an S corporation, because if you have an S corporation, you have to put them on payroll, right? That has to be done through an LLC.
So it's tax deduction to the business. You save money, and then it's tax-free income for them. Now, they do have to actually be able to perform a job, right?
Absolutely.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
So, but there's no age requirement, right? It just has to make sense, right?
So there isn't an age requirement, but yeah, like you said, it has to make sense. I typically tell people try to stay between 7 and 17. But if you have a child that's younger, and let's say they are able, listen, these kids know how to take photos now. They know how to work phones, computers. They know. So if you could hire them and have them help you with that, that's great. If they could be a model.
But that's what I was going to say, a model. If you have a business,
they could be a model.
You could have a kid that's younger that's a model, and you could pay them for models and services, because you gotta, because there's always somebody that's going to try to figure out how something doesn't work, and those are usually people that have never done anything. So it's like, well, technically you can't have a kid working if they're not working. That's obvious. That's obvious. But it's like you're trying to find ways around to make it not work when it's a workable model, right? Like if you have a child 11, 12, 13, they're old enough to perform tasks. They can post on social media. They can come with you. They can be an assistant. They can do a variety of different things, right? It's like you're trying to talk yourself out of this, how this doesn't make sense. It's not difficult to work. That's not a difficult thing to do. And there's a variety of different jobs that you can do. Now, for a 1-year-old, it's going to be difficult, obviously, to have them as a computer programmer. That's not something that is beneficial. But like I said, you could pay somebody to be a model at any age, really. And the benefit with that as just a regular, because you could put money into a Roth IRA for a regular kid, but that's not if you don't have a business, but they have to actually work a job that's hiring them, and they have to be of working age. So you have to have working papers to work a job like 13, 14, something like that, depending on what state you are. But you can hire your child at a younger age than that, right? And it's more flexible. They don't have to go to CVS from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock every night. Like they can just work for you, and you can dictate what they do and tell them what to do. And now, so they're gaining real life experience from working for you, and you're saving money. They're gaining money. It's a win-win situation.